So I guess first things first is appreciate you guys coming in and doing this. But I think we'd like to learn a little more about your team. If you can kind of tell us how many team members you have, what are their roles, just give us a little background about you guys.
All right. I'll get started on this one. So, the project when we first launched it, it kind of grew faster than we had expected. So, our team grew very rapidly. We probably peaked at, almost 20 staff on payroll. We since then we've toned it down a little bit, and we've kind of got people that were more focused in certain areas, and that could dedicate more time to bomb. So now I'd say we have about 8 or 9 staff on payroll. Then we outsource a lot of work as well to, a consistent group of guys. But so the team has shrunk a little bit, but we actually just brought on another developer yesterday, and we're always looking to, grow the team and find the right talent. You want to add anything to that, Dan?
I say, as you said, we're outsourcing quite a bit of work to a few devs, graphic designers, marketing team as well. I say if you included all those guys there, we're probably looking at around 20, 25, something like that in total, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So you guys have been around for a while. So back in you guys launched back in November, is that right?
Yeah. End of November.
Yeah. Okay. What all chains are you guys on? Are you just on BSC, or have you gone cross chain yet?
We are just on BSC right now. We did have plans to go cross chain. Kind of had a bit of a misstep with the provider that was going to do that for us. Kind of strung us along for a couple of months, and then decided that they didn't want to prioritize our cross chain. So it wasn't going to be a huge, massive thing for us, anyways. Our printer's on BSC. That's where where the core is, and so we will go cross chain, but it's not a huge priority for us right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Just because I don't think there's too much more value that's going to be added. Going cross chain, we got a lot that we can do on BSC.
Right. Yeah.
The important cross chain is that we can take BTC for BTC mainnet, which is probably something that we'll talk about a little bit later on. But that's in terms of cross chain, that's a really important one.
Cool.
It's not like a bridge, but it's we take in Bitcoin from mainnet.
Okay, so for everybody here that's just kind of joining in, I've had a few more joined in since we started. Let's just kind of give them a brief explanation of your project, kind of hit the high notes.
You want to give it a shot, Dan?
So I'm just trying to sort out the muted people in our YouTube are just saying about how Crypto Kingdom's muted there, just so they can't hear him. If you wanted to unmute, sorry.
You want me to unmute on StreamYard?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just for people who are on YouTube.
How about now? We good?
Yeah, it should be good.
It's a little bit echo, but it works.
Okay.
So about our project, it all started. Well, I'm the one that had the idea. Basically, I was just actually getting into DeFi myself the middle of last year. Just exploring, different projects on different chains, and Phantom seemed like it had a lot of great opportunities over there. I really enjoyed a lot of the projects on Phantom, and that's when I ran into Tomb Finance. Just having the highest APRs that were on Beefy and Grim, and the different aggregators, and then when I first saw Tomb's APR, I thought, well, there must be something fishy here, right? This must be something going on here. There's no way they can pay that kind of APR. But the more I looked into it, I really liked everything that I had to see. And about a month later, I said, you know what? Why has nobody else forked this? They figured out the algo coin, right? And they're on Phantom on a smaller chain, pegged to Phantom. So I just thought, how can I improve this? And I kind of wanted to challenge myself to fork Tomb Finance. And I was kind of wondering again, why nobody else had done it. So I challenged myself, and I got it done. And I made a couple key decisions, such as being on BSC, pegging to Bitcoin. I guess for anyone that's not familiar with Tomb Finance, essentially, our protocol operates the same as theirs. So I'll just explain ours. we're an algorithmic stablecoin pegged to the price of Bitcoin at a 10,000 to 1 ratio. And we're not like a backed stablecoin, we're algorithmically pegged using Seigniorage, which basically means that the protocol is designed to incentivize our users to do what's in the best interest for the protocol, because it's also typically in the best interest for their own bags. So, a big part of Seigniorage is having a big, strong community. And, I knew that right from day one. I did my research and, I put together a great community. I think, we got one of the strongest communities out there. Crypto's tanking and, our bomb holders are holding strong. So it's been pretty incredible. And, and we've, ever since we launched, we've been just adding different use cases and, trying to expand the ecosystem as best we can. And, always, being very transparent, listening to our user base and, community, seeing what they want and, trying to do whatever makes them happy. And, a lot of our growth has been organic just because people, they like their project so much, they just felt almost obligated to tell their friends about it. So
yeah. So I'm just I'm looking at your chart right now, and I've got it pulled up back to a couple months back to February, start of February. I mean, you guys have been extremely stable. Why don't, for the people that aren't real familiar with these projects, can you go more into depth about what it means to be pegged to Bitcoin?
Sure. So pegged to Bitcoin means that, basically our price is supposed to match Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is such an expensive token, that's our crypto. That's why we chose to use a ratio. Was one of the most difficult decisions, right? On day one of development was, I really want to peg to Bitcoin, but this is already a pretty complicated project to kind of grasp and get your head around. So, so to have a complicated project and then introduce an extra layer of complexity by having a 10,000 to 1 ratio, I thought about that a lot, but then at the end, I decided to go ahead with it, of course. So basically what that means is that, at $100,000 price of Bitcoin, BOM should be $10. That would be the peg. So it's designed to follow the price of Bitcoin. And one of the ways that we accomplish that is we have BOM paired with Bitcoin in the liquidity pair, right? So what that means is that, provided that there's no buys or sells, or that the buys and sells kind of even each other out, staying neutral, BOM price will move with Bitcoin, right? So the way that happens is, just because the way that liquidity pools work, both assets on both sides are always, have to be worth the same amount. So if there's no buys or sells to change the ratio in that liquidity pair in that pool, then Bitcoin going up in value at the same time BOM goes up in value, because the ratio between those two assets is not changing. So that's something that a lot of people have a hard time getting their heads around, I guess, especially when they're new to the protocol. People always feel like, okay, Bitcoin came down, so it's going to be easier to get back to peg, or Bitcoin's running away, it's going too high, now we can't get to peg, right? But it's really a non-issue. Peg or not peg is all about just buys and sells on the token on BOM itself.
Okay, cool. So we've got a couple of community submitted questions as well. I want to kind of run through some of these. So Grizzling is asking, since BOM is algorithmic stablecoin tied to Bitcoin, what steps are you taking to ensure like the crash that happened with Luna and UST doesn't happen to BOM?
I mean, there was a lot of factors that play with the whole UST Luna situation, and I'll admit that I haven't done a ton of research on it, or so I'm not 100%, informed about that situation. But, right from day one, we've done everything that in our power to stabilize the protocol. And, all of the decisions that we make are, aimed towards stability and protecting our, community's investments. So, I mean, of course, I can't guarantee anything or any level of safety, but, the transparency that we have and, with our, what we're doing and how we operate and the decisions that we make, we really try to just, let our community be as informed as possible and, make the right decisions for their own bags. And, typically that's also the right decision that's, to help the protocol out.
Yeah, so something else I'll add to that, what you said about the whole community, is having all of our big proposals for everything to do with, rewards distribution or our expansion rates, things like that. Everything to do with, how the protocol works at its core is all down to the community as a whole. We don't just, make decisions and put them out there willy-nilly. We're listening to everybody and seeing what they want to have changed, and seeing things they propose and, talking about it, which is key, we believe.
Yeah, absolutely. So Crypto Crab is asking, how are you guys planning to provide rewards once the emissions of B shares end in November?
We've got a lot of great ideas. There's one that's, we've pretty much solidified, but it's something that we're kind of keeping a little bit secret until we have all the details ironed out. But I mean, it's something that we've been thinking about since day one, and we are still quite a bit away from that, but we do already have a main game plan and several other offshoots, I guess you could say, that that will keep everything flowing after November.
Yeah, to get BOM working for years to come, rather than just until November. For sure.
Absolutely. So I think you guys kind of touched on this a little bit, listening to the community and everything. But Ferry's asking, did you consider community feedback and requests during the creation of BOM money to extend fresh ideas for your project? How inclusive are you for listening to people's new ideas and hearing them out, and how involved is the community in kind of contributing to some of these decisions or ideas?
You want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, say for that one there, we've recently opened up talk.bom.app, which is it's sort of a community forum to really get across some key ideas, because we were finding that sort of in Discord and Telegram, a few ideas would sometimes get lost, or we still see them, but at least in this, it's basically a forum-based discourse. In there, we can really write down everything that we've got going on with the community and what they suggest, and then we can really talk to the core team about that and see if we think it's a good idea or not. And then if we do, we can put it forward as a proposal, and then governance is done on that with holders of XBOM. XBOM is simply where BOM is put into our XBOM contract, and that means when we're over peg and we're printing in the boardroom, the ratio of XBOM increases, and we also can use that as collateral on BUSM money. We'll touch on that in a little bit, I think.
I just add to that, we always, right from day one, we've always valued the community's feedback, and we pretty much don't do anything without either having an open discussion or socials, or now we're, like Dan mentioned, we're having every decision, major or even moderate, we're putting through governance proposals. So we really want to do what the community wants. It's like the project is built for them, really. So.
Yeah, that's good to hear for sure. So is there any partnerships maybe that you can tell us about? Any partnerships with other projects, or maybe partnerships with any influencers in the space or anything like that? Anything you guys got in the works?
So I was going to touch on Midas. There would be a key one that's coming up soon. It's a fork of the Fuse protocol on Rari Capital, I believe, and it's just going to allow our users to use BOM BTCB LPs and leverage against them as well. That's going to be a huge one coming out. And also to do with the influencers, we've had quite a few sort of Crypto Mischief, James Pelton, and all big fans, long-term BOM holders. And we've got a few more AMAs lined up as well for when our new UI comes live, which will hopefully be soon. We're just sort of ironing out the final kinks on that one there. But once that goes out, we're going to have a big marketing push with a completely new marketing team as well. And we're going to build up a lot of interest in the project for sure.
Cool.
Yes.
Can you tell us, I was just going to ask a little more about the UI, kind of go into more detail about what we can expect.
So in terms of the UI, we're building it completely from the ground up, from scratch, just based all around ease of use. We really want to, I've said right from day one as well that, I feel Bomb BTCB is one of the best investments, not only in crypto, but in the world, just because of the safety that you get with the Bitcoin exposure and, the DeFi yields that we generate. So, we want to make this as accessible as possible to everybody, people that are new to DeFi, DeFi veterans, with their current website, you almost have to be somewhat familiar with Tomb Forks or Tomb Finance themselves to kind of grasp what's going on and, interact with it. So, or you have to read a lot of documentation, ask a lot of questions. So, the new UI is just geared around, just that one, core Bomb BTCB pair for the most part. And, just giving users everything that they need to interact with that, whether that be, single staking one of the two assets or depositing the pair, zapping into the pair, buying the fiat. Even we're going to have a leverage functionality where you can, say deposit 10 LPs and leverage that up to, as far as 100 LPs if you want. Just because our pair works so well with leverage, just because it's a peg pair, so the price is meant to stay the same, so the ratio is not really meant to change too much, and that makes it quite safe to leverage up in the system that we're using, which is the fork of Taro, Taro on Phantom, for anyone that's familiar with that. So yeah, it's coming along really great. We've got the single staking and the whole vault and the deposit and LP all working. We need to polish those pages a little bit more before we can officially call them released. But as soon as that's done, we'll have the leverage ready, right after that. And, we'll keep adding to it until we have all the functionality of our current site available on the new UI. But immediately, like at the very beginning, the focus is pretty much on, those, that one pair Bomb BTCB and, just basically making it as simple as possible for our user base or for new users.
Yeah, cool. So, kind of speaking of new users, some people are a bit wary of the complexity of these types of projects. So, what are you guys doing, and what do you have out there that can kind of explain to the new guys how they can get involved with your project? I think I was watching a video earlier today. Actually, I think maybe I got it from your website. It was a pretty good YouTube tutorial. Can you tell everybody kind of where they can go to kind of get a walkthrough of how to get involved?
So we probably should have something better in this category. We do have a lot of different videos that give you bits and pieces. I don't know that we really have one video that kind of walks you through the whole thing. And I guess part of that's because we keep adding to the ecosystem all the time. So like anything older that would have been pretty comprehensive wouldn't include stuff like, our Abracadabra Money Fork, which is, BUSM. So I just recommend going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/bomb money. I think that's the URL. We have all kinds of videos there, and there's a lot to see there. I mean, we've also done AMAs and with some popular YouTubers, and a lot of those have tutorials and talk about the project. So can't really go wrong going to YouTube. Look for Bomb Money.
Well, I think this is probably a good time to open up this giveaway. So the Bomb Money team has provided us a giveaway opportunity for you guys today. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Most of y'all know how this works. I'm going to open up the AMA giveaway channel. You guys are going to have 5 minutes to get in there and react to the giveaway bot. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up as a public channel right now. Look under the Submit AMA Questions category, and you're going to see an AMA giveaway section. So you guys are good to go. Go ahead and react to that giveaway bot. You got 5 minutes. So let's see. I think I've asked most of the community questions. Well, actually, we've got one here from Mystic, I see. Let's see. With the Bitcoin staking feature, are you able to pull out your funds in case of an emergency when it is locked?
Yeah. So I think they're referencing the bombbtc.com there. Which is, to add what you said earlier about simplicity of our new UI and everything, that also moves over to the sort of Bitcoin mainnet, and that's our offering there. It's essentially the Bomb BTCB LP. However, we facilitate it all over on the BTC mainnet, so it's easy for our users there. They have a simple dashboard, simple UI. They deposit BTC, and when they withdraw, it comes back as BTC. So it's really simple for them. And regarding withdrawals for that one there, I think the withdrawal fee is 0.001 BTC if you withdraw within 6 months. and you also lose a portion of your rewards, which you've been given. That's all documented in sort of the documents section in there. But as a withdrawal fee goes, it's minuscule.
Well, just to clarify that, so it's like there's not typically a withdrawal fee. It's only like, if you've locked up for 6 months and you want to take it out early, then we have a minimal early withdrawal fee, or I guess you could call it an emergency withdrawal fee. Although it's not a very high fee, so it's emergency is probably not the right word for it.
Right.
Yeah, just a tiny fee.
Okay. And another question I've seen is a lot of projects have a treasury that they're investing to kind of produce income for the protocol. Do you guys have a treasury, and if so, what are you spending it on?
So we do have a treasury. It was built up quite a bit more early on. We were the first Team Fork, so we kind of, once people heard about us, we kind of just started flying. TVL was over 40 million, I believe. We built up quite a strong treasury when we were able to, because obviously at those levels we were able to use the treasury assets to diversify into other things like other cryptos and other assets that aren't BOM assets, just so that if we need to step in and buy up BOM assets to improve the health of the protocol, we could do that. Because of some of the times that we've had in the past, we have had to utilize the vast majority of those funds in the past. So we're just now getting super healthy again, and we're looking to diversify the treasury out again. So the treasury does have a lot of assets. The problem is that they're mainly BOM assets. So if BOM price needs some help, you can't really help it with BOM. So so basically we're going to be diversifying that out as soon as we can safely. So I would expect it to grow to into the millions in the near future. So right now, like I said, it's we've had to use the majority of it in the past, and we haven't really had that chance to sell assets on the open market in order to diversify out away from BOM assets from the treasury. So that's definitely a high priority for us as soon as we have that ability and the prices allow.
Right. Speaking of priorities, what would you say is your top priorities in 2022?
That's a good question. So our top priorities are really, just improving our whole ecosystem, growing our community, growing our user base. Like I've said already, like I feel this is such a great investment because of the safety combined with the yields that we need to get this out in front of as many people as we can, and let them know why we think it's so great, and basically just to simplify the whole process, just so that we can onboard a lot more users. Just to widen our target audience, basically. So, we want to keep building. I love building. I love forking projects, changing things, making things better, making them fit our ecosystem. We'll keep adding things to our ecosystem, keep listening to our community, and keep growing, basically. And we are the first Team Fork, and we're right around peg right now, I believe, last I looked. So it's a lot of Team Forks. They're not doing so hot, especially after some times passed. So we've really, we've shown our stability. So now it's just time for the masses to join in. So that's what our focuses are on, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think it's pretty impressive, that you guys have been running for as long as you have, and or have been as sustainable as you have as well. So something I know everybody's gonna want me to ask about is some more of your security features. So obviously you guys are doxed. What about an audit? Multi-sig. Let's go into kind of some of the security features about your project.
You want to take this one, Dave?
So we've been audited by, I'm trying to think of their names now. Stay Safe Food, is it? Do you remember the name down?
We've been audited 3 times now by more and more reputable companies every time, just because we didn't have the budget at first. What was that latest one called? It's been a little while since we finished our last one. Yeah. Anyways, we can link them after. It doesn't matter if you don't have the name right now.
Yeah, that's fine. And so I will leave open, we've got the Bomb Money AMA questions category open. So if you guys want to drop some links in there whenever we get off of here, maybe any YouTube links you guys have that you want to share, or audit links, all that good stuff, I'll leave this open for the rest of the day so you guys can get in there, answer any questions we might have missed, and drop some helpful links too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we've pretty well covered most of what the community's been asking. Is there anything else that maybe we haven't covered that you guys want to touch on?
Yeah, so I'd love to talk about our latest governance vote. But before we get into that, let me actually just add a little bit more to that last question that you asked about security.
Mhm.
So audits are just one aspect, right? So everything that we add to our ecosystem, even starting right from the very first component of it, which was the core bomb money protocol. We're very careful to not change, or to basically to start with a code base that's battle tested, right? That's Team Finance had over 1.5 billion TVL, in the past. So we haven't changed anything in the code that would introduce any kind of new vulnerability or exploit. We've changed variable names. We've changed, names of different things. We've changed, obviously our peg is different, but nothing that we changed would have introduced any kind of potential vulnerability. And same goes with our auto compounding vaults. We forked Beefy Finance, and some of their, most battle tested contracts that they have would be those standard auto compounding vaults, and their Beefy Vault V6, I think it's called. So we really take security, it's a top priority, and we won't do anything that puts our community at risk, as well. So we have time locks, and we are setting up a multi-sig, but right now we do have time locks and everything critical, so that any changes that need to be done, if people don't like the changes, they have time to kind of make up their mind and decide if they want to leave, if they want, before changes get implemented. So that's already been done. And probably the biggest thing actually is just transparency, right? Like, so we're docs, like you mentioned. If a bomber wants to come meet me in person, I'll meet them. I've met bombers in the past. I got nothing to hide, and I actually go out on my way to be transparent and ask the community for their feedback on things. And I think that speaks volumes in terms of security and how safe users' funds are with us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. I think it. I mean, it says a lot when you guys are willing to show your face and everything when so many teams aren't. So yeah, definitely a positivity there. So let's see. Is there anything else, guys, that we may have missed? Kind of scrolling through to see if we got any last minute questions.
Well, I'd like to talk about our latest governance vote if you don't have any more questions.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So we had probably our most major governance vote that we've done so far. Maybe I'll just pull it up. I'll share my screen on StreamYard here, although a lot of the audience can't see, so I'll try to talk everything through. Actually, maybe it's better I don't share my screen, so it's the same for everybody. So our latest governance proposal, it came about just from basically, I was just thinking, right, and pretty much our boardroom that prints bombs. So basically, the way that our protocol works is that if we're over peg with the time-weighted price average, we mint new bomb, and the people that are staking B shares are the ones that receive that bomb that we mint. Typically APRs for this sort of thing would be in the 400 to 1,000 range, somewhere in there, just because of basically because of the price of our token, and which is bomb, which is currently around $3, and the price of B share being at what it's at right now, which is around $100. Our APR was around like 10,000%, right? So that's something where I have no problem paying people a huge APR. That's not the issue. But the issue is that we can't maintain peg if we're giving people so many rewards, and not as much as people typically follow what's best for the health of the protocol. It just takes a couple people not doing what's best for the protocol to really just hammer that price down when they're, I think I calculated out that if we printed 4 prints in a row, which would be one day, I mean, that you'd get a 14% daily return on your B share. Like, that is just, it's unbelievably high. It's like you buy $100 B share and you get $14 that same day, right? So it's something that I know that there are some members of the community that don't agree with the latest proposal, which has already passed, for anybody that's curious. So that will be going into effect in about 4 or 5 hours after the time lock is up. But we really did this to be able to maintain peg, to be able to get that B share price moving up. We can adjust. So what we did is we throttled down the rewards, essentially. So it's more in line with what we think is a healthy and safe kind of amount of rewards based on our token price and everything else. So, it's, I feel that people that don't agree with the vote, they probably don't quite understand that, every time that we have a print, we're fighting a war to try to stay above peg, because these rewards are just, it's outrageous how much we're printing, right? So it just, it takes just a couple of guys that have a pretty decent bag of B shares, and they can just ruin the fun for everybody else. So this proposal is going to kind of even the playing field. Everybody should be able to sell some of the rewards when they want to, if they want to enter the farms, they got to sell some for BTCB. It's not fair if a couple bigger players are just, dumping all their rewards, and then all the guys that are following the rules, now that they can't sell for a little while because we're under peg now. So, I mean, this is really kind of geared to not only even the playing field, but just to kind of give us stability, get the B share price moving up. Once B share price moves up and our farms have grown, we get increased expansions back closer to what they were. And yeah, a lot of the objections we've gotten to the proposal, we made the proposal strictly to do what these people think that is not going to happen. For example, like they think we're capping the limit of how high B share can go by limiting the size of the prints. But the thing is that if we're not printing consistently, the B share is never going to move up that high. So that's, we have to address that, head on. And that's kind of what we did with our proposal. And, I'm really excited to see it in action. And so now I'll get into the numbers super quick. So the last vote that we had prior to this one, we actually lowered what our time weighted average price had to be to generate a print. So it used to be that we had to be over 1.01. Now we have to be over 1.001. So we have to be just barely over, that 1.0 peg. And now our maximum expansion, starting in about 4 or 5 hours when it kicks in, would be 0.5%. So basically anything between, and this might not be that easy to see without me showing it on screen, but anything between 1.001 and 1.005 will generate a print, but it won't be a full print. And it only takes over 1.005 or exactly 1.005 to get a full print. So what this is going to mean is that we're going to be a lot more stable. We're going to have a lot of full prints in a row. We're going to be able to maintain peg. The APR is still going to be great at $100 B share, which I think we're at. We're still looking at a 2,000% APR. That's going to be a 2,000% APR where the number actually means something, because you're actually getting a print very reliably, right? I mean, it's cool that our boardroom says 10,000% right now, but we print once and then people dump rewards and we don't print for another 3-4 days. So the 10,000% APR doesn't really mean much if it's hardly ever paying. That's kind of what we wanted to get across, but it was a lot of information to get across. So we did our best on that.
It's hard to write all that down, right?
Yeah. And actually, one other change that we've done is, so based on this latest vote that did pass, and I am glad it passed. I think it's going to really help. But one thing that we've changed for future votes is we're going to have a 24-hour period before voting starts. Because as Dan mentioned earlier, we launched talk.bomb.app. It's a bomb forum for kind of like intelligent conversation about critical aspects of the protocol, or strategies or announcements. But governance proposal is a big part of that. So what we'll do now is that once we have a proposal, it'll be 24 hours before voting starts. That way there can be thorough discussions and explanations in the forum, and that way hopefully votes are made with more informed minds. So we'll have that in place for all of our future votes.
Yep.
Cool. And where are these votes taking place? Is that something that you're doing on your website, or is that in the Discord?
So we use it like we do proper governance votes where you have to hold our governance token in order to vote. So it's XBOMs our governance token. So that those can either be in your wallet, like it's a yield bearing token. So typically people just hold them anyways. So it's either in your wallet or our Abracadabra money fork called BUSM money. XBOM is the option that you can use for collateral to borrow our US stablecoin. So we actually also count any XBOM that you've deposited there as collateral. We'll count that towards the vote as well. And the votes take place at vote.bomb.money using a tool called Snapshot.
Okay, and the more XBOM you hold, the more voting power you get?
Exactly, yep.
Okay. Right. All right, cool. So I do have one more question. One of our mods was asking, are you concerned that adding more to your ecosystem might add more risk as well? If one of the new contract has flaws, are you concerned of exploit in those?
Great question. We're very selective with what we introduce to the ecosystem. And typically, a new aspect of the ecosystem is, I mean, I can't really overgeneralize here, but I mean, typically, something that we add to the ecosystem is not going to be a risk to the remainder of the ecosystem, right? So it's like if the core bomb money is secure, then some branch of the ecosystem, the worst thing that could happen is potentially funds that are in that aspect of the ecosystem could potentially be lost, right? So it's like no outside part of the ecosystem can touch or do anything with the core, which is, or our farms or anything like that, right? So it's where the almost the entirety of the funds are stored is bulletproof. So, an example is like our Abracadabra money fork. I mean, this is again extremely battle tested code, so chances of an exploit are very minimal. But I guess there's always that chance. But the worst thing that could happen there is actually this is probably not the best example because this actually is one that there is quite a bit of assets in there as collateral. So I probably picked the worst example I could have, but yeah, I mean, so it's we have XBomb that's been deposited there, a couple 100,000, I believe. So the worst thing that could happen is that could be taken potentially. But again, we all know how big Abracadabra money is and how much money they have locked up, and we're using their contracts verbatim. So again, it's all about the battle tested code.
Cool. Awesome. So we actually do have our winner as well, the $100 giveaway. That is going to Rocker6394. His about me says he is smoking and chilling, and now you got an extra $100 in your wallet. So shoot me a DM, and I'll send that over to you. So, all right, guys, is there anything else that you feel we need to touch on? I think I've covered all the updated questions we've got. So
I think we've covered most things we wanted to talk about today, especially the recent proposal as well. That was a key one we wanted to get across to all of our bombers as well, and also everybody who was interested in getting involved with bomb as well, just to see how well we listen to all of our investors and we take their opinions really really at heart and try and do the best we can for everybody, not just ourselves like some other protocols might do.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions about that governance vote or anything that I was just talking about, feel free to let us know, and we'll be happy to answer live. Or if not, we can always answer in the Discord channel afterwards. But I see our YouTube's not getting too many questions, or hardly any at all. So
I sent them all over to the Discord AMA.
Oh, okay.
To listen.
One step ahead.
cool.
Oh yes. So just to add what you just said there, Aaron, any questions at all from the Crypto Kingdom guys, feel free to at me in the chats and ask away, and I'll make sure I get back to you and answer any questions you've got.
Yeah.
Or just come and join our Discord, have a little look around. There's lots of information there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely recommend everybody head over there if you're interested and kind of go through their links, read through their white paper again, all their documents. If you got any more questions, like I said, I will leave this category open for the rest of the day in case the Bomb Money team wants to come back and add some links or answer questions. But yeah, just head over there, Discord as well, and join there and kind of follow along and, do your research. And if you got any questions, ask these guys. And obviously they're an open book. They're willing to answer. So all right, guys, I think that kind of wraps things up, and we appreciate everybody listening in, and appreciate you guys being here, and we wish you guys the best of luck.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having us, and thanks to our community for joining in. Your community, you got a big community. Thanks everyone for for joining in and listening to what we had to say, and hopefully we can see you around. We'll be hanging around the AMA channel in the Discord to answer any questions, so don't be shy.
Cool, guys. All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Amazing.
Take care.
Thank you very much.